Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. So I'm here with you today to share a little bit of myself and my story with you. And I will do it within the context of the 10 Crafty Questions challenge that's been going around for a little while. So I hope you're not bored of the challenge yet, and I hope you will stay with me for a little bit. I was tagged in the challenge by Northern Northern Craftaholic that I know of. So thank you for that. I'm really excited. I was really excited to see that I was tagged, and I was really looking forward to filming this video. I do have a couple of notes down here. I have my questions here, so I will look down to just so I don't sort of lose myself and go off track. So I hope I don't get too emotional, because I will tell you a little bit. I'll go deep, I guess. I'm one of those people, I don't like small talk. I know that it's a bridge to, to get to deep stuff, but I think I'm just gonna go deep straight away. So let's begin. Okay, so the first question is, what is your name? My name is Natasha. I live in Melbourne, Australia. I came here as a refugee in 95, and you know how they say, once a refugee, always a refugee. And the reason why I say that is because it ties in with something a little bit later. I don't actually consider myself a refugee anymore, but I think somehow I still have a little bit of that mentality, the lacking mentality, like that's where a little bit of the hoarding comes in, like especially with paper, hoard paper. So I think it comes from that. So I will touch on that a little bit more later. Okay, so the second question is, what is your YouTube name and how you came up with it? Okay, so here's a story, just quickly. This is a journal that I made a little while ago. I think this was last year's or the year before, maybe 2017. So this is my personal journal. So every day I don't want to open it because there might be personal information here. So there could be like F words and stuff like that. Who knows what I was writing in here. So anyway, one day I was working in my journal. So what I usually would do is, stick things down. I have my receipts and what else? I don't know, I'll draw flowers and all sorts of stuff, like little tickets. And if I went to see movies or if I went to a gig or something like that, I put it all in here. And my son asked me, because I was looking at it and I love it so much. And my son asked me, what are you doing? What is that? And I said, well, this is where I write my day and what's happened on that day, and this is where I put all of my little treasures, like, little memories in here. They're my little treasures that I put in here. And he said, oh, so it's like a treasure book. And I thought, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. It's a treasure book. So that's how I started thinking about junk journals being called treasure books, because we use journals to keep those memories alive, I guess. I don't know. To relive the experience as we are journaling on the day, to either maybe heal ourselves. So if it's not a nice experience, we try to reframe it and, write about it so we can start thinking about it a different way. Or if we're just simply writing out what's happened that day, like I went to the shops and I went to the movies and I saw a friend, had a coffee, whatever. It's just a way of having it. It's just a way to preserving memories, I guess. So these little moments make up our whole lives. So I see them as treasures. And I really prefer the term treasure books to, or even handmade books or whatever, to junk journals. But I understand how junk journals originated, and I understand where the name comes from. They're not junk, but obviously they're not junk, but maybe sometimes people might get confused, like, junk journal? Why would I buy a junk journal, Anyway, going back to the questions. So that's how I came up with the name. So I was calling this a treasure book in 2017. I started thinking about them as treasure books. This is just one off. This is just for 3 months. This is a 3-month thing, like it's full, right? So when I started my channel at the end of 2018, it was very easy. Very easy. I didn't even have to think about it. Treasure books. Very simple. And yes, it was my son who came up with the name. Okay, so what's your favorite craft? Anything to do with paper. Anything to do with paper. Well, maybe not origami and stuff like that, like I wouldn't fold paper, but paper crafts. I was, for a little while before I discovered this passion, I did a little bit of knitting, I did a little bit of cross stitching, jewelry making, I was making natural products as well, things like that. But at the moment, and I think forever, my favorite craft is making journals, making junk journals or treasure books. Okay, the next question, number 4, what's your favorite place to shop for craft supplies? I love to go to op shops or thrift stores, secondhand shops. I love the rush of finding a treasure. I just love it. It's very addictive, very addicting. You know, looking for something, like even imagining in my mind beforehand, I hope I find this or that or whatever. And also resource centers. I know that not all countries have, all cities should have a resource center. We have a couple around here. Basically what it is, it's a company that takes offcuts and seconds and all that sort of stuff from large factories, and then they sell it onto the public very cheaply. Usually they supply schools, so schools will use a lot of their stuff. So it could be tubes, it could be cords, it could be ribbons, it could be paper, all sorts of stuff, buttons, or anything. You can pretty much find anything in there at a resource center. And you usually you can fill up a large rubbish, one of those large black rubbish bags, fill it up completely up to the top, like it's huge, and that only costs $30. So fabrics, anything, amazing stuff, like sample books, from wallpaper sample books and all sorts of stuff, like amazing the things that you can find in there. And I love the resource centers, and I usually go maybe once, maybe twice a year. Not really, to be honest. I actually stopped going to even op shops, secondhand stores. I stopped buying stuff because I realized, to be honest, I have everything that I could need. I have enough supplies to make journals for all eternity. I think I've got enough fabrics and leather and ribbons and all sorts of, and then I just realized one day, I think I was addicted to that rush of finding something, finding a treasure. And then now I have a problem of storage. Like, where do I start? Like, look, all this stuff, it's just full. I made a little bit of space here. Look, oh, there's a bit of space in there. But what happens is, when I open, like, things fall out on my head. It's just unacceptable. I won't do it anymore. So I just completely stopped buying. I say that now, but tomorrow I'll probably rush off to, hopefully not. Anyway, next question. Top 5 crafty YouTube channels. So this is a tough one because I am actually subscribed to a lot of channels. All of them, I think. All of the junk journal treasures channels, I think I am already subscribed to. I don't watch all videos, obviously, because there's just no time. But let's see, I'm just gonna throw them out. Cheaply Chic, I am on her design team, so that comes to mind first, because I get very inspired watching her videos, and sometimes strange things can inspire me, like the look of someone's hands, just seeing hands or even nails. I don't know, that can be enough to inspire me. I don't even have to see the project, so I'm strange like that. Sometimes even the way people speak, or their accent, or their personality. So yeah, okay. Tracy Fox, Linda Israel. Another one that every time I see this next one I'm going to mention, she doesn't post very often because I think now she has a problem with internet connection. But whenever I see her video pop up, I'm on it, like instantly. I'll go and watch her video, and that's Crafty Sabby from Sabrina Oroskovich. I think that's the channel name. Who else? Serene Bookworks. I think she's called Serene Bookworks. She does a little bit of, she does quite a bit of like alternative junk journals and really thick, massive books full of goodness jumping out. So I love all types of junk journals. Like I love really simple, beautiful, like simple ones, and then I love those ones that there's no space for writing, but they're just like bursting with happiness. I love that, love them. And Serene Bookworks, like she does those types of journals, so no two pages are the same, and like you can't, when she's showing them, she can't even like it doesn't stay open because it's like that. So I love that. I find that very inspiring. So sometimes I will see a page in there and I can have a whole concept come from one page that I see on, and not just Serene Bookworks, like lots, you know, all of them that I watch, you know, and sometimes there'll be a spark of inspiration. Someone once asked me like, where do you get inspiration from? Or, you know, I get it everywhere, and especially from other people making videos, and even people who don't make videos, people who post in Facebook groups. Like a little thing can inspire me. It's just so amazing. I love it so much. Who else is there? Lollipalooza, Lindsay Zanor from Nevermore Creations, Jessica Rapp from Two Silver Oranges, I think the channel's called. So what happens is I'm subscribed to these channels, but somehow I have the notifications that I get when people upload videos, they go to my email. So I actually check all of the uploads in my email, so I never miss anything. So I don't watch all the videos. Sometimes I'll just, you know, yeah, I don't watch all the videos, but I'll click on each one to see what it is and to see if I want to watch it, I guess. But I watch a lot, most, and I'm only watching when I'm crafting anyway. So A Trace of Sparkle is another one. Very, these are all like a little bit different channels. Oh my god, I hope I'm not forgetting someone. You know, all the ones that are, you know, that everybody knows, like Nick Booksmith and Amity Bloom and Yvonne Preston. All of them, okay? I watch all of them, okay? I think that's, I can't think of any. Oh, let me just see my Liz the Paper Project. I'm just looking at my email. Wendy's Journal Adventure, G. Kerr, Girl on the Ridge. Some of these are not actually, they're like different. A Trace of Sparkle, Robin Marie Smith, Jessica Rapper said, lots of them. Okay, anyway, let's move along. Number 6 is a favorite color. So I find this question a little bit strange because a favorite color for what? Like I find that favorite color depends on the context. So for example, I would like to wear pink and white in the house because I feel protected in the house, and pink is very like light baby pink, you know, it's very feminine and soft, and I feel safe in the house. I can wear that color, but I wouldn't wear it out. There's just no way in hell I would wear that pink out, that color, and I wouldn't craft with it. Maybe if I did like a shabby chic style, which I haven't done yet. Anyway, for making journals, I like browns and beiges, you know, those like aged colors. I never wear that color, ever. Brown, I don't think I own anything that's brown. So, yeah, that's why it's a little bit strange, that question, because I don't actually have, I have lots of favorite colors, but for different things. For planners and things like that, I like dusty rose and turquoise. I like that for planners. So I have different favorite colors for different things, but I have to say I did go through a ridiculous stage before the kids were born where it was a hobby of mine. I was clearly bored because I didn't come across this craft yet, but a hobby of mine was turning my room in red, like turning it into red for some weird, I know. So I everything had to be red, like my laptop and my stapler and my wardrobe door, like everything had to be red. It was ridiculous. I hate red now. I think, oh, I hate it, but, oh, look, red. What's this doing here? It's contact paper. When I was in my red stage, I actually covered my wardrobe door with this. And I have so much of it left over because I want my whole room to be red. And now I don't know what to do with it. And because I've still got that mentality of, you know, lack, I'm holding on to it. So, and I don't know what to do with it. So it's just sitting there. I need to find something to do with it. Okay, so next question is favorite craft tools to craft with. My lovely lady over here, my sewing machine. I love the sewing machine. I never used the sewing machine in my life before I started making journals, and then I made journals. Absolutely, you can make journals with no sewing machine. I made them for about 2 years before I purchased my sewing machine. I got the cheapest one at Spotlight. This is just an Elna, just a really simple machine, and I use it for all my paper crafting stuff. I even altered a top yesterday, and I use my machine. I mean, that's what it's for. It's for clothes, not for paper, but I use it mostly on paper, cardboard. I'll put anything that fits, I'll put it through there. So maybe not plastic. I had to change the needle once, and I've had this machine for nearly 4 years. 4 years I've had it for, yeah. And I put thick cardboard through it. Anything that, you know, that can fit through, I'll put through it. So that's definitely my favorite. I don't think I could live, I mean, I could live without it, but I love it. So the next craft tool, I don't know if that would be a tool, but it is kind of a tool. It's the glue. It's a glue, and the reason why I love it is because I treasure it, because it took me such a long time to find the perfect glue, and I have a cupboard full of glues that I was purchasing, trying to look for the perfect one, and I didn't know really what I was looking for, and now I do. So this is an acetone based glue, which means that the paper doesn't wrinkle, it doesn't warp, and it dries so quickly. And another thing I love about it is when you apply a little bit of glue, so first of all, the paper will not warp. That's a huge plus in my book. Second of all, it dries very quickly. And third of all, if there is if the glue sort of seeps out from under whatever you're gluing, it comes off. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this, but it comes off like little rubber erasings, just like that, right? And then you can just rub it off. So I don't know if you could see it, like rubber erasings. You just go like that and it just comes off. I love it, love it. So I think those are the two. And maybe, I don't know, my distress oxide and, you know, inking the edges, that kind of thing. So before we continue, I just want to quickly tell you a story, and this ties in with what I said at the beginning, you know, once a refugee, always a refugee. So favorite craft tool to craft with, this is not really a tool, but it's my favorite thing to craft with, is paper. So just quickly, I want to tell you where my love of paper comes from. So when we were living as refugees, especially for the first year of our refugee life, not here in Australia, but in Croatia, we, amongst the things, you know, the other things that we didn't have, like food, for example, you know, I mean, we had food, we weren't starving, but, you know, for example, strawberries. I didn't see strawberries, let alone taste them, for 3.5 years. So amongst the things that we didn't have, like proper fitting clothes and things like that, we didn't have any paper. I didn't have any paper until one day our neighbor that lived across the road gave me an old calendar, and this was it was a year old from the previous year, and the calendar, on one side was the calendar and on the other side was clear paper. Side note, I actually married this woman's grandson nearly 17 years ago. She has already passed away by the time we got married, but think she knows. So she gave me this calendar, and I treasured this calendar and this paper on the other side of the calendar. I treasured it so much. I hoarded it. I loved it because I didn't have paper. And ever since then, I still to this day have, I have this mentality. It's so hard to let paper go. And you know, when I was at school and when I used to see kids in class, they would start writing on a page and then they'd go, rip it out and scrunch it up, throw it in the bin. I was heartbroken. Whole page of paper in the bin, you know. So I still to this day have a problem with throwing paper out, paper that's that I can write on the other side. I don't ever throw it out. I keep all bits of paper. Okay, so this is, I think, where I will go a little bit deep. Where do you get your crafty love from? I'll answer this in two, because my favorite craft is making journals, and journals are made for writing. So let's start at the beginning. When I was 9 years old, no, I was 8. When I was 8 years old, my mum gifted me my first diary. This was in 1991. And she wrote, "My little girl has an interesting way of writing down something that's happened, of writing a story, a joke, something sad, drawing a flower, drawing a cloud. It would be really nice for everything to be in one spot. Your mum." Right there. So this was, yeah, in 91. So I started writing in this journal, and then I can see here that I was writing in it and, you know, sticking little pictures in and all of that. And my last entry here was in 1992, April 1992, and I wrote in here, "Today is the 6th of April 1992. There's a lot of fear in Sarajevo and a lot of people are very unsettled." I'm translating this, so it's, if you can tell, I'm translating. It's horrible what's happening outside. There's a lot of gunfire. I'm at home and I'm really scared. And I don't know what to do. A lot of people are praying for peace. And then just down here, I wrote, "I hope that peace prevails." And then that was my last entry, because the war has clearly begun in Sarajevo. And soon after that, we left. Soon after that, we left. We went to Croatia. We were refugees in Croatia before we came to Australia. And I was able to retrieve this diary when I went back 6 years later in 98. Now I have it. So there was a whole lot more pages here that I wasn't going to continue writing in, because, you know, this stage of my life was over. So I just ripped them up. And I'm keeping, and I have this, and this is where my love for writing began. This is how it started. And you know what? I treasure this so much. I have a little piece of me from when I was 8 years old, going through a very difficult time in my life, in any child's life at 8 years old, when your whole world is turning upside down. And I have it documented here. And I have journaled ever since. My whole life I've journaled. I've documented everything, and that's why this is important, I think, because this way we can preserve these stories. We can understand ourselves better through writing, and also maybe our kids and grandkids and future generations can perhaps preserve a little piece of us too and know us. I would give anything to have something of my grandma's, something that was her, a little piece of her, a letter. Imagine having a diary, you know. When I write my diary, I have two separate ones. If I'm writing about feelings and something I have to get out, something I have to work through, it won't be something that I will keep. But if I'm writing about things that have happened and beautiful moments in life, this is the thing that I imagine being passed down through generations. So snippets of somebody's life. Okay, so that's where the love of writing has begun. The second thing is I want to show you this. So when I started in Croatia, when I was a refugee, when I started school, I didn't go to school for a year, and then I started school and I didn't have a pencil case. And so my mum made me a pencil case. Now this thing is very old now, very used. So it's got zips on the side that open, you know, and I had all of my pens here. I had different size places for scissors and rubber and everything that I needed. Everything was here. And you know what? I was so proud of this pencil case. It beats every pencil case, any fancy pencil case bought from a store. I was walking around with this pencil case like I was it, because I had something handmade. I had a piece of my mum with me all the time, and I have everything I need. I needed a pencil case, I got a pencil case. And another thing as well that I wanted to add, just another little story. I didn't have, before, you know, I started going to school, I didn't have any dolls, and I was kind of sad that I had to leave my doll behind in Sarajevo when we escaped. So, you know, I really wanted a doll. So one day my mum decided to make me one. So she made me a doll. Now she used the ball for the head, and she put yarn for hair, and then she drew a face, and she used stockings that I outgrew, like they were too small. The stockings were like the arms and the legs, and she stuffed everything with rags. And this doll was nearly the size of me. It was that big, nearly the size of me. I remember thinking of it as a friend, because I didn't have, there weren't many kids there. There weren't any kids where I was staying, so I was very lonely. And this doll was like, you know, like a friend, someone that I could play with. And I remember it so much, and I love it. To this day, I don't have it. I don't have it anymore, but I remember it, and I treasured that doll. And I treasured it so much because it was something made out of nothing. So I learned two things. Something handmade and something made with love means so much more, and is treasured so much more than a store-bought product, for me anyway. For example, my daughter's a lot younger than I was then, but she has 20 dolls that she never really plays with, you know, and I had one that I treasured and loved and remember it still. And two, I learned that we can make something out of nothing. So we don't need fancy things to craft with and fancy this and that. You know, we need the basics like glue and paper. I guess we can make paper. We would need equipment for that. But we don't need all the fancy stuff, like all the, you know, punches that are out there and all the stamps. I mean, I do have punches up here, I admit, they're right there. But the fact is, we don't need all of this to be creative. We can just start, we can be creative with a lot of things. And I hope that this comes through in my channel, the way that I think about this craft. I think it comes through. I think it does. I hope so. Okay, next question. When did you start crafting? I started this sort of crafting 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I came across, this is here we go, okay? I came across a channel, a planner channel, and I always liked planners and I always liked paper, and I came across, I can't remember the name, Vicky B, something like that. And on the side there, I was recommended a video, and it happened to be from Jenny Belly. And when I clicked on that, and I thought, what's this? And I found Jenny Belly. And when I found Jenny Belly, my world literally exploded, because it was like, I can't even explain it with words what happened to me when I came across Jenny Belly, because she was my gateway into making journals. And she does a lot of recycled type of craft. So she will take a cereal box and a bag, an old bag or a belt, and she will remove the belt, you know, the buckle, and then she will make this amazing work of art from things that people throw in the bin, you know, once they're done with, like an old belt, people throw it in the bin, you know. So that's when I was like, oh my God, this is me, my whole life, and this is me, right? People actually do this, and you know. And then I learned techniques, and I watched every single one of Jenny Belly's videos. She had at that time 200 something, right? 216, 200 something, right? And I've watched them all, every single one. And then from there I went, you know. And what was the question? When did you start crafting? 6 years ago. That should have 6 years ago. Question number 10 is, what has been your favorite craft so far? So obviously, I think that, you know, the answer is obvious. It's junk journals or treasure books. But I don't think of this. I honestly don't think of this as a craft. This for me is a calling. It is what I was put on this earth to do. This might change, you know, it might lead me to something else. I don't know. I don't think so. But I feel like my whole life has been puzzle pieces of moments, and they were scattered everywhere. They were scattered all over the place, you know. And there was lots of fear and lots of anxiety, and there was lots of negative emotion. I mean, fear is still underlining a lot of my experience and a lot of my life. It's something I'm working through. But I feel like when I found this, I feel like all of the puzzle pieces clicked. It was like click, and everything just fell into place. And this is my purpose in life, and this is my, I know it's in a scheme of things that it's insignificant. I'm not changing the world, I know that, but I'm changing my world and maybe somebody else's, because this has healed. I found this very healing. It's healed me. This journey has healed a lot of pain and fear, you know. So I think that's why I think it's a purpose. It's a calling, not a craft. It's so much deeper. And I consider myself very lucky throughout everything. I consider myself extremely lucky. I'm very lucky in life, and this channel has grown quite a bit in a very short time. And you know, I don't really understand why, because there are so many talented, amazing people out there, some of which I've mentioned before. People who have so much more talent than I do, people that are so much, I mean, I don't like comparing, and I don't usually, but you can say that someone's better at drawing. So, you know, I can say there's lots of people out there who are so much more talented than I am. But I think that maybe people, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Everybody has a story that's worthy of telling. Everybody's life is important, and everybody has a story, and I'd love to hear people's stories. I love to know what brought you here. Like when I meet somebody, you know, and we're talking about the whole weather thing, I'm thinking to myself, what's happened to you in your life? Like, what brought you here? What are your pivotal moments in your life? I'm really, really curious about people, and I think everyone has a worthy story to tell. I think an important story to tell. And I think a lot of what I do comes through everything that I do in making journals is meaningful to me. So anything that I apply to a journal has a meaning behind it. And my life comes, these experiences that I've touched on in my life come through in the way that I make journals, in the way that I share, in the way that I'm talking in a tutorial, I guess, you know, I don't know. I think that people can subconsciously sense this, and they connect with me because we are all on that same level. We all have pain in our life. We've all had bad experiences. We are all healing from something. We all have good days, inspired days, bad days, down days. We all can relate with this. So I think that's why something clicks. Just lastly, I think, just to go back to what I was saying before, I think that I found my passion and my calling in life and my purpose, and I honestly, truly want that for everyone. I wish that everyone would find what it is they're here to do. And I like to share freely because this is how I was healed, by other people sharing freely. So that's why I love to share with you guys, and that's why I love it when you comment on my videos and I connect with every single one. I read every single moment. They make my day. Comment. I read every single comment. Makes my day. Occasionally I'll get a negative one, but I pay attention. I'm not going to say, don't pay. I do. I pay attention to the negative ones as well. I think, why? Why would you even write that? You know, that's what I think in my head. Well, what was the point of you writing that comment? Maybe it was simple. They just wanted to make me feel bad. Okay, move on. So anyway, the last thing I think I need to do is tag 5 people, I think. So let me just, who am I going to tag? I don't know if these guys have already done the challenge, but let's say, and like, how do you let them know? I mean, I was tagged on Facebook, so I know that I was tagged to do this, but I'll find a way. All right, here we go. I will tag Cheaply Chic. I will also tag who will I tag? Cheaply Chic. Tracy Fox, I imagine, is probably already tagged. Let's say Lindsay Zenor from Nevermore Creations. Lindsay, I'll just write down so no. Linda Israel, let's tag Linda. She's probably tagged already. Linda Israel. And if she's not, I'm tagging you, Linda. Who else? Lollipalooza. Can I just say, Lollipalooza, I hope that I'm pronouncing this correctly. Can I just say that this woman is made for television? Like, I was sure that I even asked her if she's had a career in television. The way that she speaks with the audience, you know, and the way that she talks, it just comes across. I think she said no, she wasn't, but I think it will be interesting to watch her 10 crafty question challenge. So that's for Triply Chic, Lindsay Sanor, Linda Israel, Lollipalooza, and one more. I would tag Sabrina. I am going to, actually. I do know that she has an issue with her internet connection, but I tag Sabrina Oreskowit. Why am I writing this down? I have no idea. Or maybe so I can let them know somehow. That's why. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, for leaving me comments, for supporting me. I'm really, really grateful to you guys. Thank you. See you in my next video.